Rumors have Danger racing a 450 at World Supercross, and the industry is about to panic. Hey everybody, Walty Wanderers, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. Let's jump back on the Moto merry-go-round and examine the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the ugly.
No, Walty, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine and jets and donuts.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the industry ruts. We got some ruts to look through today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody is doing great. So rumor has it, and I saw it posted on Instagram. Maybe you guys already have it. By the time this video posts, it could already be announced. But I saw that Danger Boy Deegs is saying that he's going to race a 450. I believe it was Argentina in World Supercross. If memory serves me correctly. Now, that post might have been pulled down. It could, the thing is when I went and looked at any major moto media swamp outlets, it was nowhere to be found. And here's the thing, I reported on this a while back. In fact, if you're new, get subscribed right away, not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. There's never been a more important time in history to get centered and surrounded with like-minded moto people where iron can sharpen iron. I reported earlier on that I smell something over at the Deegan camp. They're not meshing well with the industry right now. And it should be no surprise. I think they played by the rules when Danger first entered into the pro ranks. But it's clear now that the Deegans and Danger himself is bigger than the industry. And when they released saying that he was going to race a 450, what was it, at the last round or somewhere, it was if he wrapped up the title early, he would race a 450 at the last round. They were like, what are you doing? We never said that. In fact, we get paid to do that. And that's exactly what I see here. There's a couple things. This is really multi-layered because I think we're getting pushback from the Deegans against the industry. I think we saw it in the final press conference leading up to Super Duper, when they asked Deegan, I think it was even Hopper, if he's going to race clean. And he's like, no, I'm going to be like totally clean out there, bro. I'm going to be an angel on the bike. It was on. It was on at that point. And it's clear right now the industry is worried about Danger Boy because he's got a lot of juice. And the Deegans are smart. They've been able to market themselves very well. And it's not all about making money now because they made the money. And while money is still definitely a key component and they want to continue to stack cash, which I'm sure they're doing, it's more about changing the sport, leaving a legacy. And Brian was able to do that with his freestyle career. Now it's Danger's opportunity to do the same thing with Moto. And just like freestyle kind of fizzled out, I think at some point we're going to see Moto as we know it fizzle out. So it's very important to them to leave some kind of mark on the industry, a legacy of sorts, and to do it their own way, not playing by the rules. And it's not so much that they just don't want to play by the rules just because, they want to be, go against the grain and anti-establishment, but that probably has a lot to do with it. I think it's more than that. I think it's more that they just do not like what the industry has become. It's very watered down, sugar-coated, borderline, well, it's full-blown woke because we're promoting, Pride Month now during SMX. We're promoting football and using football buzzwords during motocross broadcasts. In fact, it's just blatant at this point. But even all that aside, I think the Deegans now, what they've pretty much done is there potentially a couple scenarios could play out. One is, hey, okay, world, we'll come race World Supercross. How much you willing to pay us? Okay, world, great. How much you willing to pay us to see Danger Boy debut the 450 at your series? That is huge because you know how much Feld and the AMA and MX Sports were banking on. They were going to be the recipient of Danger's natural progression into the 450 ranks. Now, eventually they'll get that, but it won't be his first time on the 450. They're going to have to report that Danger Boy Deegs has done some races on the 450 already, and they're probably not going to mention which series because this is now real live competition. Where before it was competition because it was really conceptual and we hadn't seen World, and then we saw World come out and kind of fall flat, and so then they weren't threatened by World as much anymore. This puts World Supercross really back on the map in terms of having some staying power and being a legitimate series. And it's with that being said, I see a lot of stuff like, I don't know, other channel or podcaster, like the silent assassin Vince Freeze is going to be on an electric bike over at World. I don't like that. I just don't. I mean, I think what this is doing is segueing us into a full electric bike series where eventually we'll do away with combustion engines. And on one hand, maybe it would be good because you'd give everybody just kind of the same bike to see, because it's hard to you don't mod a battery the way you mod a motor, and it's probably easier to regulate the batteries to make sure somebody's not gaining, significant advantages with it. But on the second hand, I mean, this is motorsports. You can't remove the motor. I think it's more of a publicity stunt than anything else, putting Vince Freeze out there on that electric bike. But it will be entertaining. I'm interested in seeing it. But on one hand, I'm like, I don't know how much I like it. Now, back to Danger Boy Deegs. Full send, baby. What's up? Here's the deal. Deegs is probably getting paid big money to debut this 450 over there, like I said. Now, there's a good chance. Can you imagine this? Now, this is tinfoil hat kind of stuff now. But Danger Boy Deegs, if they were to offer him ownership in World Supercross, or they bought stocks, or they had any percentage of ownership into that, where you can't buy into, let's say, the AMA, Supercross, Motocross, Super Duper Series, whatever the case may be. But if you had ownership of a series, can you imagine what would happen if the biggest name in the sport says, I'm only doing World, and now we're going to go ahead and release more races. We're going to do a 10 race series with the world's best. With the world's best, only the best of the best. It's going to be gnarly. Like that's a potential for something that can happen because the sport's clearly changing and it can't sustain itself at the levels going now. And just like we've seen plenty of other races, like let's say the Vegas Supercross finale, gone. Let's say you go US Open and Motocross, the richest race, gone. Let's say you go Monster, those things have all gone. And now they've introduced Super Duper playoffs, which in fact seems to be hurting them because they really did that to keep people from going to World. But now people are going there anyway. Some of the biggest names. The only ones that aren't are the two guys that are the one guy that's getting paid the most money and currently dominating the series. The Wonder Boy, the chosen one, the Moto Messiah, Jet Lawrence. So they'll keep him because he's the one who's actually getting paid. And I think that's what's forcing the Deegans now to be like, listen, it's not fair. This dude's making all the money and none of it's getting spread around. We want to even the playing field. Now, I think if they can even the playing field, they'll be much less likely to pull some really crazy move like we're not even going to do your series anymore. We're going to be doing this series and promoting because we're now owners in it. That would be much less likely. And here's the thing. The industry's going to have to pull out their checkbook. Here's why. This is huge. Because the hype right now is the clash of the potential two titans. Danger Boy meets Jet Lawrence. Is he the one? That's the all in these conference rooms right now with suits that don't know how to ride and that think you're dumb and they want to use football buzzwords to get you hooked and bring in a new demographic, whether it's on Telemundo or not. They're banking on right now, when Danger Boy goes to the 450, our series is going to explode. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a moto guy that wants to see you not only win on the track, off the track. Understand the waters you're swimming in now, they're shark infested. Danger Boy Deegs, welcome to the swimming pool. Bro, this is gnarly. Dude, 450 potentially at World Supercross in Argentina. This could have massive fireworks, blowback, repercussions that have a ripple effect through the entire industry. They're probably shaking in their boots. But in the meantime, Walty will be here to blow the lid off at every step of the way. Because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social link in the description of this video if you'd like to follow me there, or simply search up Walty Wanders MX on Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Don't go over the bars. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.